Hello. Welcome to the second session of our national spin-off. As Sergio said in the previous session, this is in English, as you may be seeing now. And we are going to present some perspectives on BIM mandates with the view of educators, with the view of software vendors, and also we have brought a representative of Catalonia government, which is after the BIM mandate there, and will tell us about their experience. These speakers are Alessandro Ferrari from Ziggurat Institute, which is a BIM training center. He will talk about it. Ferran Camps, as I said, he is Generalitat de Valencia, and Fernando Valderrama, Riff Software. He has a booth out there. Mauro Coletto, Sierra Software, also has a booth out there. They are going to explain a little bit, but they are going to focus on how mandates and open formats impact on their day-to-day job. So we are going to begin with Alessandro. He has more than 50 years of experience in the AC sector, and he is a passionate in BIM and has a lot of masters and studies that he will be able to tell you about in several minutes. So let's welcome Alessandro Ferrari with a nice name. He doesn't wear red tie, so we're not sure he has something to do with the cars.
So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. And today, I will talk a little bit about the importance of preparing people to apply BIM with an open BIM approach. So, I will start with a little bit of information about myself and Ziggurat. Then, I will talk about some gaps that exist in our industry. Then, I move on to explain how to fill these gaps. And finally, about our training and corporate services. But first, I'd like to start with a quote from Malcolm X, who said, "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." So, this powerful quote encapsulates the very essence of the Ziggurat mission and serve for us as a driving force behind everything we do. At Ziggurat, we truly believe that we transform tomorrow today, because we are fully committed to train the BIM leaders of tomorrow, equipping them with the skills and knowledge needed in our industry. So, a little bit about my background. I'm Alessandro Ferrari, and I'm a professor and academic director of Ziggurat Institute of Technology. And my background is in architecture, project management, and BIM management. And the topics to see today will be the backstage of a revolution underway. Then I will propose 4 what-if questions, and we will be exploring these questions. Then I will show that the BIM leaders of tomorrow are here. And finally, I will talk about our trainings and corporate service. But first, I'd like to ask a question. Does anyone know what a Ziggurat is? I'm not talking about our company. Does anyone know? I believe there's one person that knows. You know? Maybe you can share with us or not. So, I will tell you. A Ziggurat is Mesopotamian hyperstructure, predating even the pyramids. And it's a testament of human capacity to build monument and construction. But in that time, a Ziggurat was a place to connect people with God. And more than that, was a place to store knowledge, like libraries. And our logo symbolizes this essence of the rich heritage of architecture, engineering, and construction. Maybe you have seen our previous logo, as we recently underwent a rebranding process. And now this is our new logo. And as I said, it's a symbol of the construction sector. But more than that, it's a symbol of not just store, but share and spread this knowledge. And Ziggurat was founded by visionary engineers that had this vision of the crucial needed of the skills and leadership and education in our sector. So, for those that know us, I don't know if you noticed, but we removed the global from our name, and that's simple. It's just because you don't have to emphasize every time that we are global, because we have more than 100 associations, collaborations, and partnerships to keep connected with the market. And we have more than 20,000 students from more than 120 countries. So we are a native e-learning polytechnic school. We have more than 20 years of experience. And during this time, we have managed unite industry and technology. That's because we have been working on a specific methodology to increase effectiveness, to give to our students the best online environment to this learning experience. And today we have 10 master programs in BIM and construction management, and in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Maybe you have noticed my accent, I'm Brazilian. And this master's in BIM is focused on buildings, also infrastructure. Also we have master in construction management, focused on lean construction. And you can visit our webpage. We have some new programs this year. For example, AI applied in construction. It's very, very interesting. And all these masters has a double degree from Ziggurat, Institute of Technology, and the Instituto de Formación Continua y L3, University of Barcelona. So now these 4 what-if questions that I'd like to propose and explore a little bit with you. So the first one, what if we could connect the most advanced BIM technologies and processes to boost the leadership? What if we could establish connections with BIM industry experts from around the world? What if we could establish a collaborative environment to experience the potential of BIM? And finally, what if we could transfer not only knowledge, but also practical expertise? So these 4 questions are the 4 fundamental pillars of a disruptive methodology to train the BIM leaders of tomorrow. So what I mean is people, technology, and processes, industry leaders, global collaboration, and hands-on experience. So let's check a little bit about these questions. The first one, connect the most advanced BIM technologies and processes. So I'm sure that we all know this triangle: knowledge, people, processes, and technology. They are the main points, the main skills to work to achieve the BIM goals in order to have a successful BIM implementation. So it's a skill that any BIM manager or a company has to be. And this will be exactly what our students will study in learning in our masters in global BIM management. So let's explore a little bit this journey, this learning journey. So in our master, we have 5 blocks. The first block, we will talk about ISO standards, openBIM workflow, basic softwares, and just to give some base and a wide view about BIM management is the first step. So we move on to the block 2, when we apply BIM for design. It's a really nice stage because I'm an architect. And here we'll be working with many different softwares, learn how to manage these different softwares, BIM authoring softwares. But the most important point is that how coordinate all this phase, how coordinate all the stakeholders, and how to work with information. So we'll be working with CDA, common data environment, with BCF communication to extend information in this phase, and how to deliver all this information in that model. And of course, we'll be working a multidisciplinary model. And then we move on to the next phase, block 3, about BIM for construction. Here, of course, we will do all the simulations about cost estimation and construction planning. And again, the most important point will be how to use the previous information from the model. So, of course, how to establish, how to draw an open BIM workflow. And then block 4 about BIM for facility management. Again, how to transfer all this information from the virtual model and the construction site to the phase of facility management. And finally, about the implementation. Once we know, we have experience how to execute a BIM project in an entire life cycle, we are prepared to develop a BIM implementation plan for a company or entity. But the most important thing here is the experience, because the students will put in practice all this knowledge. So from beginning to the end of this 1 year master, they will be developing a project about each one of these blocks. So from beginning to the end of a life cycle project. This is the moment that they will be really understanding and applying this knowledge. Because of that, our experience in learning is a hands-on experience. So the second question, what if we could establish connections with BIM industry experts from around the world? So we have more than 200 professors in our faculty board, and this is a team from our global BIM management in English. And the interesting thing here is that all the professors came from the industry. So they bring into the class this hands-on experience. And of course, this generates also a lot of networking, so the students can get opportunity about career opportunity or business opportunities. And the last 2 questions, what if we could establish a collaborative environment to experience the potential of BIM and transfer not only knowledge, but also practical expertise? So here a little bit of more information about this learning journey. So the students will be working in a team, in a collaborative environment. This is a real example. Of course, we remove the names, but it's a team with people from 4 different countries. We have 2 from Italy. And they will be working as a company, as a real team. And of course, they use effective communication, using, for example, Trello and Slack. They use innovative methodologies like Agile, Scrum, and Kanban management, and technology softwares. For example, to develop a BEP, a BIM execution plan, they use Plannerly, that's here in this event, and also other softwares like Dalux, that's also here in this event. Then in the design phase, it's really nice phase. As I said, as an architect, it's for me it's amazing phase. And here this same team, these 5 people, will be developing the multidisciplinary model, what I mean is architecture, engineering, MP, okay? And they will establish and drawing this workflow to coordinate all these various scenarios that could have in the design stage. And of course, and the main point of this event, with an open BIM workflow approach. Then we move on to the construction phase. Here is a gap, a really huge gap that exists nowadays, how to connect the design phase to the construction phase. And here is the moment that the students will understand in practice how to deliver and what kind of information they will deliver to the construction phase. And the construction company will learn what kind of information and how they have to request all this information from the previous phase, from this model. And of course, they will develop all the simulations about cost estimation and construction planning. And then finally, the facility management phase. So when we talk about virtual information, they will bring all this information from the model well, okay, and of course the real information from the construction site. It's about validation, the as-built. So after 1 year, the BIM leaders of tomorrow have a profound and a deep understanding for the critical significance of coordination and collaboration, which has elevated their achievements and outcomes. And here, some points of the importance of BIM in coordination. For example, better collaboration and communication, pre-construction project visualization, reduced cost. I'm sure that you know all these points. And some strategic points that they will be learning, for example, how to create a SWOT analysis focused on BIM, how to understand the business process in connection to openBIM methodologies, about data management in a project lifecycle, also how to create a strategic HR planning in an organization, and of course, understand a little bit of IT strategy basics. So the BIM leaders of tomorrow are here, and I will prove to you that, because our professors and our students, these are some companies actually that our students and professors work for, and here in this event we have many students and professors from Ziggurat also. And if you don't believe me, you can visit YouTube and search for WizZig. That's the name of the project that these teams will be developing during the master. And you can find there many, many videos posted by our students. So it's about everything that I said today in videos from 5 to 10 minutes, and it's really, really interesting. And if you remember these 4 questions that I proposed before, we can match this with our training and corporate services. For example, connect BIM technologies and processes. We can do that with our training from 3 different levels: fundamental, professional, and advanced. What if you can establish connection with the BIM industry? Also, we can do that with our training and talent pillars. And about transfer knowledge, we can do that again with our with our training and talent and promotion pillars. So if you want to develop your career, or if you want a unique solution for your company, you can reach out to my colleague, Rodrigo, that's here in person, that he's head of our corporate services, and or you can reach out to him by his contacts here. So thank you for your time, and that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Alessandro. You didn't clarify about your family and the car. Okay, now you are all willing to meet Ferran, I know that. I said Generalitat de Valencia. He almost killed me. It's Generalitat de Catalunya, sorry for that. Okay, he is a civil engineer, and he has a lot of education, training, and things, but he is doing 3 major things that are now very interesting for all of us. First is he is the Deputy Director of Decarb and Smart Roads in Generalitat de Catalunya. He also coordinates the BIM Technical Committee of the Generalitat. That's where the mandate comes from. And he's leading the strategy 2430 for the Generalitat. So that's really today and tomorrow, both present and future. And he is also professor in the master's degree of BIM management, digital transformation, and new business models. So please give a nice welcome to Ferran, and he will tell us about his mandate and his experience with governmental regulations.
Yeah. Thanks, Maria, for the presentation. Okay. Okay. First, good morning, everyone, okay? And I think it's important before starting, I would like to thank BuildingSMART for the invitation to this summit to be able to explain what we are doing with BIMming in the government of Catalonia. Really, when you explain the China cases, our case is it's a little bit, but it's our experience, okay? Okay, to explain our mandate, it's important, I think, it's why the openBIM strategy of the Generalitat de Catalunya. It's important putting in the context that what is the Generalitat, okay? Generalitat is one of the main investors and assets manager in Catalonia, in schools, hospitals, roads, railways, wastewater treatment plants, and public housing, among others. No? The Generalitat de Catalunya reached the BIM as a public administration responsible for guaranteeing the quality of the life of the more than 7.9 million citizens of Catalonia through the efficient and effective management of a wide range of essential public services such as health, education, transport, environment, and security. The Generalitat de Catalunya really is a owner operation of public service, and from this perspective, that for more than 10 years, it has been promoting the use of BIM as a tool and a methodology to improve and optimize the management of these investments, both in the design and the construction phase, and also, more recently, in the exploitation and operation phases. For us, the use of BIM began in 2013 with pilot projects and was consolidated from the first BIM mandate, which at the end of the 2018 established that all the Generalitat major public works projects, budget of more than 5.5 million euros, must be designed and executed using BIM. Other important milestones have been the first BIM manual in 2019 and the creation of the BIM Technical Committee in 2021 to coordinate the implementation of the BIM in an organization as complex as the Generalitat. Last year, in 2023, we approved a second open BIM mandate, expanding the range of the projects and works where the use of the BIM is mandatory, and we work to define a new BIM strategy for the Generalitat 2024 to 2030, which we plan to approve soon, probably the next month. In this moment, at the moment, more than, in this moment, we have a very important works in BIM. The current situation, the last year, the percentage of works is 70%. And always, for the beginning, the Generalitat has opened the open BIM formats to implement this methodology and technology. Our mandate specifically that the use of BIM cannot lead to any discrimination in the market. And as a government, we have also been a particular interest in ensuring that the implementation of BIM does not pose a problem of competition for the small and medium-sized construction companies in our area. In this respect, we have carried out a detailed monitoring and assessment process that has enabled us to conclude that the BIM mandates of the Generalitat have not led to any discrimination for the bidders on the different projects and works that we have promoted with this methodology. Really, in my opinion, the Generalitat clearly committed to open, as the government, the Generalitat clear commitment to open BIM has been a key element in guaranteeing free competition, avoiding problems of discrimination in the BIM bids that we have made. The Generalitat de Catalunya promoted two open BIM mandates in 2019 and 2023, which were a key element in the generalization of the use of open BIM in our organization. With the approval of the fifth mandate, increased the use of BIM, we first went from 18 to 13 to overcome and currently consolidate more than 60%. The second mandate from 2023 aims to deepen in the general use of the methodology as it establishes that all the actions over 2 million euros must use BIM and promotes its preferential use in a low amounts too. The main investing ministers and more than 25 public companies of the Generalitat are currently working with BIM. Since 2019, BIM has been a reality in the Generalitat that has allowed us to execute better projects and better public works in Catalonia. And include goals as relevant as the construction of 5 hospitals in the middle of the COVID pandemic. And it included the goals relevant as use of virtual reality techniques for the roadworks in the current situation. This, the fact we are currently taking more than 150 works using BIM for more than 1,100 million euros of investments. Really, when you compare China numbers, but I think it's important. Okay, for the future, no? The Generalitat of Catalonia is in the process now of approving a new BIM strategy, 2024 to 2030, where we consider BIM as a tool for a transformation. I think it's important. Transformation is a key word, and collaboration, and where the sustainability is also been an important strategic line for us. The new strategy, that's a result of a participative process of the sector, and is structured around 4 pillars such as a builder, drive effect, people, and collaboration. It's important to note that the openBIM is present in 4 of the 17 strategic areas of our strategy, BIM, and specifically its standardization, open formats, digitization, and the common data environments. Okay, in this final of presentation, I would like to make some reflections on the present and the future based on the experience we have from the government of the Generalitat in the use of BIM, Generalitat of Catalonia, Maria. Really, the use of BIM in Catalan government is a case of success. I think for us it's very important. And it's allow us to do better projects and better public works. It's important to highlight that without the mandatory openBIM mandate, this outcome would not have been possible. Really, when now this, or projects, the 70% of the investments is already in BIM, everyone is working to make BIM useful, and all is easier. BIM is the key if you want to digitize and make the world of public works more collaborative. And looking forward to the future, okay, one moment, please. Looking forward to the future, yeah. It's very important that if you want BIM to be even more useful than it's now, it's capable of bringing value to all the actors involved in design and execution of public works. We have a very important challenge in this case. We are working to see if the BIM can help us in the operation phase for assets, and this is a subject that is costing us. But the question for us now will be if you operate our assets using BIM will be as useful as BIM already is in the design and construction phases. And to finish and writing to the central issue of this summit, we're asking how to make our designs and works more sustainably thanks to BIM. And the Generalitat de Catalunya hope this can be another BIM success. And as the government of Generalitat de Catalunya, we are working to make it possible. Thank you.
No, I'm keeping him for a second in the scene. Just, I'm going to help him. I know with English, he doesn't feel so confident, despite having spoken quite well. I'm going to ask something in Spanish, and I'm going to translate for the guys here that don't speak Spanish, okay? Because I think you will all find the question interesting, and I think his answer will be quite better if he does it in Spanish, okay? So I'm asking him, Generalitat de Catalunya had a very impressive experience of building with design and build models, hospitals in 20 weeks. that was a very successful BIM, sustainable, industrialized, everything that nowadays is on top of the table. And I would like to know if Generalitat de Catalunya is thinking about expanding this model to other types of constructions. Okay?
Te contesto en español, ¿eh?
Fine. He's answering in Spanish and then I will make the translation. He understood the question. So he doesn't do so bad as he says. But let's allow him.
No, realmente la experiencia que tuvimos con la construcción de los 5 hospitales COVID es que ya estamos en tercera fase. Sí, en este momento ya la gente de sanidad ya nos está planteando no construcción con otro sistema. Ya están con el marco que nos da la ley de contratos, tú lo conoces bien. Estamos ejecutando proyectos y obra. Y donde el BIM y el Lean está dentro de estos procesos con un proyecto básico que se aprueba por fases, cosas de estas que parecen un poco imposibles, pero realmente están dando. Es verdad que eso que me comentaba la gente de salud, que dice, hombre, pasar de 2 años a 10 semanas es impresionante, ¿no? Pero claro, es que ahora ya no puedo decir que estaré 2 años en construir un centro de salud. Como mínimo te darán 1 año, ¿no? No tarda 10 semanas, pero sí 1 año, ¿no? Y es verdad que estamos entrando en estos procesos y hay varias ya partes de la administración de la Generalitat que está entrando. Nosotros hicimos también en territorio una parte también de firmas sostenibles con temas de innovación que también fueron muy bien con Lean y con BIM y también con unos plazos muy ajustados.
Okay, so more or less you heard the magical words Lean, BIM, time. Well, in fact, he says that at the end of the day now, at least in this health sector, they don't accept anymore 2 years hospitals. Now they know it can be done in 20 weeks. So the best thing that they can get is 1 year with industrialized systems, and that in fact they are working in that roadmap of industrializing and using Lean together, of course, with BIM and every other tool in public management under the umbrella of Public Act, which I don't know how many of you here are Spanish, but our regulation, well, it comes out of the European regulation, so it's quite similar in every country, but in public regulation...
The problem is the transposition of this regulation in Spain.
Yeah, yeah, because they're transposed in a weird way. But, well, we have that problem with that, but they are catering with the problem in design and build, which is not very popular within public regulation, so they're making it.
El tema es que se puede hacer en España, pero es verdad que es en proyectos de innovación principalmente, ¿no? Nosotros estamos trabajando para conseguir que no sea así, sino que sean todos proyectos de cierta complejidad y en los simples, en las dos cosas, realmente por defecto sea el proyecto de obra para poder introducir ese tipo de sistemas más ágiles.
Claro. They're making it basically in R&D projects by the moment. So thank you very much for sharing your experience. And now I'm going to introduce you to our next speaker. He is Fernando Valderrama. Some of you may already know him. He is one of our gurus in this BIM thing because he's been working for a few years, let's say. Within all his capabilities, he works, of course, in a company, and that company is one of our sponsors, but he is also working in the FIEBDC, I don't know how to, FIEBDC, the Association of the Format for Exchange of Construction Quantities data, right? So he is also very tied to open formats and to all the means of our summit and our loves for IFC, IDS, open things, just in a parallel way. So let's see what he can tell us. Fernando Valderrama.
Thank you, Maria, for your words. And also I'm happy to be here with this wonderful audience. And if we check this title, which seems so attractive and sexy, I think, then you have to think that I wrote that title, and then after I had to prepare the presentation, and you say, how I'm going to keep up to this title. Then I must say that it was before I was creating in this specific session about BIM mandates. So what I'm going to do is to use one slide for every of these issues: sustainability, AI, cost saving, and then a bonus slide. First, our company, it was a small Spanish company that was a part of RAB software 7-8 years ago. And now RAB software is a part of Schneider. They're also here. Schneider is also, they also have this Aviva company, and some people of Aviva will be here also. So are a big group. We are very committed with sustainability, as you can check, because our logo is green. Then, what is this presentation? Sometimes you, no, it's my presentation, it's not the final one. No matter, we can survive to that. Well, then what is Presto? Presto was in the beginning, it was cost estimation software with when they take off capabilities. For many years, it was like that. Then we added capabilities for quality assurance and for health and safety and these things. And let's say 15 years ago, we added the time and cost integration in a very, I think, deep way, not a naive integration, but really powerful. Just to discover after some years that cost professionals and time professionals do not talk each other. So it's one of the conclusions of this longer life. I've been working in this industry, and it has to do also with the success of BIM, that you can have a technology completely available, but if it doesn't fit in the culture of the industry, then it will not be successful until someday in which something changes. And then everybody is looking for technology, and the technology, there's a lot of them, and it's very good. So, but it has to fit with the culture of the industry. So this is the kind of software, and we were linked to Revit like 40 years ago when Revit began to be really known and well commercialized. And then we entered into the FC world 2, 3, 4 years ago for two reasons. One of them is market traction. This is, we're a private company, and we have to go not too ahead of the market, even we do, like in this time cost integration. And second, because there was a new technology for us, which was the ODA, the Open Design Alliance, which also there are people here, and this afternoon it will be the president talking. And we were partners of ODA for many years, working with DWG and PDF. And then it was a very good surprise for us when they joined with some kind of partnership, BuildingSMART. So there's a kind of official software, something like that. Then we could use the tools to link to IFC. So because of these two reasons, we link to IFC. And then what we do is to provide this chain, which goes from 3D, which we don't do 3D, we just rely on other vendors. And then we do 5D, because this is the next step after 3D. And then we do 6D, because it has to be done in that order before planning, because sustainability, as we'll see now, has to be made to make decisions and change the project. And then about 5D, which is the third chain, the third link in the chain. And then always remember that we have to go back to the AFC to get these results back into the model to get all the information together. So this is, I'm not going to talk about Presto. directly anymore, and I will have only one slide of Presto in the presentation. So sustainability, cost estimation software and quantity takeoff software, so what we could say BOQ, bill of quantities, with price bill of quantities, is the natural basis, natural foundation to calculate sustainability indicators. Because we, in this software, we have 3 elements. We have the list of components and resources with the specifications. And in Spain and Latin countries, specifications go linked to the estimate, go in the text of the work items. In other countries, like mostly the United States, specifications, and even in UK, they are completely separate documents. But in this environment I'm talking about, they are in the estimate. So you have this list of components and resources. Second, you have the quantity. And the quantity is what you multiply times the indicators, the unit value of indicators, and you get the integration. Sum material of this is the aggregate indicator for the project. And so we're not talking only about carbon footprint, which should be, let's say, more professional, and talk about, there are many indicators. Carbon footprint is global warming potential. It's me? Global warming potential, and like 60 other indicators, and in about 16 different stages in the project, so it's a huge number. But cost estimate, BOQ cost estimating software are a very good database for that, because it's very easy for them. Indicators are nothing more than new price. It's like they behave as prices, so it's easy to multiply. But at the same time, we have the prices in the database, in the estimate, because so we need a price. Why? Because we're using sustainability not to calculate a result and be very happy. We have to make simulation and changes, different solutions have different prices. So we cannot say just this is the indicator. We have to check, because probably if it's a better indicator, could be more expensive, whatever. So we need this information. So they're a very natural place to do that. And of course, we are thinking always that this estimate is coming from an IFC model. So we have this link, it will never be lost. And these indicators in the BOQ, they really cover very well the A and C stages of the life cycle. It's not so easy to cover the B part, because the B part requires another type of analysis, which are investment analysis, because they depend on things like evolution of price of energy and all these things. So we don't pretend to resolve the B stage of the cycle. But it covers very, very well the A and B stages, construction and deconstruction. So let's talk a bit about the standards. And what I would say is, what we do with our tool is to connect to databases. This is what we don't provide. We provide the software. What happens with databases with sustainability? It happens that we can find every kind of ways to provide the data. As Maria said, we have an association in Spain, which is FIEBDC. It's a format for exchange of data in construction, which it only focuses on cost and quantity of lines. So it's not a competition. It doesn't compete with IFC. There are different scope, and it's a de facto standard. It's not official in any way. It should, but it's not. It's very well used many years ago, more than 30. And we have also a place where to exchange these indicators together with the estimate. So databases can be published in Spain with this data, and the user can connect and get at the same time the work item with the text, with the breakdown of resources, and the consumption of carbon or GWP or whatever data they have. And this is very useful because, of course, if you have to do that by hand, it's very time consuming. But this is, we have also in the world, there are the openEPD format and the ILCD format, which are digital formats to get this data linked to products. And it's easy for us to provide the connection tool. And we did a connection with EC3, which is a well-known building transparency database. It has not many data for Spain. But anyway, it's a very good way how to connect and get this data very easily and smoothly for the users. But I should say that we can complain if we talk about interoperation and about open standards, that there are many databases which are in Excel files, in internet pages, in different formats, protected, and APIs that are encrypted or are proprietary APIs. You have to write a different API for every different source. There are many PDFs with information. We can read information from PDF, but it's not a good way to do that. So I would say that this has to be improved if that we want the industry is using this many data available, many data which is paid by public investment, but it has to be also publicly available, not only because it's published, but also because it's easy to connect. I would like to describe this experience we had with, it's not ACA software, it's Graphisoft, but we've done very good experiences with ACA also. This is openBIM Tour. This is an online event that BuildingSMART, the Spanish chapter, they do. And we join 2 or 3 companies were members, and we do online something that requires collaboration. In this case, it was with Graphisoft, and what we received was a model of a small shop or something. We received the IFC model, and in real time, we connected the model to EC3. We got the indicators for the main materials, concrete and some other materials. We calculate these global indicators, and we send them back to Graphisoft, to ArchiCAD, in the same IFC model. And then they were able to import only the new parameters or properties in the IFC. Well, the new properties without altering, without modifying the original IFC. And it was made very smoothly without any need of a complex preparation between both companies. And so it was a very good experience to show again that we have the technology, but what is lacking is the industry culture, the industry wishing to use it. Again, this is an old version of my presentation. It's completely my fault because the new one has some more images. But this is second part, which is IA. We are using IA not to replace professionals. We're using IA to get to detect small tasks which are not adding value to the project and relieve the professionals from this task. And one of the best we found is classification. Why? Because now we have so many different classification systems, WBS and templates. We provide with Presto more than 120, and they grow every month. In Spain, we have like 40 or more different classifications. And at the same time, every project cannot just work with one, because normally the designer would prefer in the initial stages to work with the classification system of the BIM model of web categories or IFC classes, even doing the estimate, because you can work with a class, the name is doors, and you have doors there. Windows, you have windows. Walls, you have walls. You can present an estimate that way. That's not prohibited. could be very useful. But the cost responsible prefers a different structure which is aligned with his database for pricing, like in Spain, the construction books for pricing. But the owner prefers a different one because they are an entity, they have to present the estimate following these lines of the different authorities, local authorities or whatever, omniclass. And then we have the BIM manager. Probably he's also requiring a different classification system, which normally is the last he started in the BIM master. So we have this mix of things. And as we are not going to have just one, what we do is automatic classification using openA. And what we provide is the ability to classify any element in any classification system in any language. Why in any language? Because openA machines, they work with ideas, not with words. So if we have a puerta is classified exactly the same on door, or porta, or tor, or whatever is named in other languages. And we are getting very good results, over 50% of close matches, and 30% of very, very useful matches that have to be refined by the user. And one of the advantages is not only reclassifying, but also the location of the most close place in a price database where to look for the work items. So the system will put you in the closest place, and then the cost responsible goes a bit down and selects the exact combination or work unit he requires. So this also can be applied to sustainability. So if we classify with IA our elements using the classification of EC3 or ITEC or INIE or OKBaudat or any other provider, then we do the routine task for the user. And then he only has to select the specific type of element or concrete or butter or whatever. So we are very proud of this part. In cost savings, I like just to comment a cost experience which is made by Avintia, which is one of the best Presto users in Spain. And it's the ability to predict purchases for the next year, because they plan every bid they do the planning, and it's explained more or less here. So what they do is the ability to negotiate frame agreements for the next year. And if they buy around, 40 million euros in concrete, and then can make a frame agreement, they could get more than 5% of discount. And it's a win-win, because also the suppliers know where they need to provide this concrete. So it's a very good cost savings experience. And the idea is not based only on IFC or on Presto. It's based on the ability to make methodical, smart processes, smart coding, motivated professionals, because then the technology is there just to use it. They connect a Microsoft project with Presto, with Procura, which is their platform, it's proprietary platform, and many other software. And then it goes smoothly because they are completely motivated, and they have a goal which is very, very quantifiable, very easy to measure. So let me, of course, this is the last slide that I promised. This is Presto. And this is a part of Presto, which is a Gantt chart there, because we do time planning. And this is the BIM mandate of the Spanish government, translated into a bar chart where we have the different terms of application. And it's easy to see because the requirements for small projects are the same as for bigger projects, only overlap, move, displace 6 months. So you read in the different columns, they are exactly the same. So this is the graphic representation of this BIM mandate, and I should say that I really support the way it has been done, it has been decided. I like the scope. It's not as big, as detailed as some BIM gurus would like, because in other words, as they say, Maria has explained that very, very well in different podcasts that I recommend you. It's very well fitted to the Spanish level, which is very good. And in a way, they don't need to tell us exactly what to do in detail, but to establish a high level of requirements that can be satisfied in different manners. So we think this is going to be to really foster or stimulate the use of BIM in Spain, because, as I say, we have a lot of technology which is waiting for industry to be able to adapt it in their culture. Technology is everywhere, and we need this, this industry to evolve. And we should not forget that BIM and AFC are only components of a much larger goal, which is not even digitalization of construction, which I could say it's rationalization of construction, which has to do with convert it into a real industry and not a kind of art, which is beautiful, but sometimes is expensive and most times is unpredictable. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you, Fernando. So we are almost done. We still have one presentation to go. I hope you are enjoying. If any of you wants to know something more about how the Spanish mandate is working, the mandate, you can reach me in any of the coffee breaks, and I will just explain you a little bit. From bSDD Spain, we were trying to bring government responsibles for this at a national level. And well, for different reasons, this time it wasn't possible. That's why we brought Ferran and his gorgeous experience. Generalitat de Catalunya is 10 years further than Spanish country. So the full country. So they are being used also as a mirror in which the global plan has looked at to learn. Well, now we are going to change a little bit on the scenario. Mauro Coletto is going to come and tell us about his experience. He used IDS and bSD to optimize infrastructure design. He is expert in topography. That's what he has been working in the last years and years. But what I most like is he started as a software developer. He is a CEO of Sierra Soft, which also has a booth out there. Some of you probably have seen him these days, or his people. And he is going to tell us a little bit about this land and building environment.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Sorry, one moment. Okay. Firstly, a few words about myself. My name is Mauro Coletto. I am a co-founder and CEO of Sierra Soft, and I have worked in the field of infrastructure and topography software for more than 30 years. At Sierra Soft, I'm responsible. Responsible for technological innovation, software development, and BIM work methodology. A few words more about Sierra Soft. Sierra Soft is a software company that creates a market software solution for the surveying, infrastructure design, and construction industry. A short introduction about the world of infrastructure. Road and railway infrastructure are highly complex both in design and information modeling. They require strong co-design and the interoperability among various disciplines from the early stages of the project. With geometric modeling integrated into design, this is important, activity and never separated. This presentation will show the result of the work done to optimize the data modeling for the infrastructure and to improve model quality through the implementation of the buildingSMART standard IFC, IDS, and bSDD. The result of this work have been fully implemented in our software and are ready for use. And this work is the result of collaboration between Sierrasoft and the University of Padua's Rachele Bernardello. We can start. Okay, to automate the process, to reduce the repetition and human error, we have 3 buildingSMART standards. For me, are the most important standards in openBIM standards. The first is Industry IFC, the Industry Foundation Classes. This provides a schema for modeling and data exchange for infrastructure. It must be in version 4.3 as a minimum for the infrastructure, and specific domains to be used, domain for roads, railway, and bridges. The second standard is IDS, Information Delivery Specification. This standard specifies the information needed and its management during the project life cycle. It tells us in a machine-readable format what information is needed, when it is needed, and in what format it should be provided. The last format is bSDD, is the buildingSMART Data Dictionary, and this provides a structured and reliable glossary for terminology used in the construction industry and promoting consistency and interoperability. Here is the BIM process, the standard BIM process for information requirements, from the information requirement to model validation using the 3 standards. The clients define the information requirements and create the IDS and the bSDD content. Sorry. The designer received the IDS files and the bSDD link, because bSDD is a service, and through software functionality fills in the required information. The designer, using the IDS, the same IDS, then verifies internally if it has met all the information requirement. And at the end, sorry. And the client at the end received the information model in FC format and verifies the content of the content of the file using IDS. Using FC, IDS, and bSDD, we automate many phases, and so reduce human errors. But we need an additional level of optimization, and it's possible. Where and how we apply EDS and bSDD completely changes the level of optimization, resulting in improvement in project quality and a reduction in cost and time. We can use IDS and bSDD in 3 main ways. On the final IFC, before delivering it to the client, this activity is subsequent and separate from design and BIM authoring activities. The second possibility is IDS and bSDD are applied after the design is completed inside the BIM authoring software, but separate from the design activity. The third, IDS and bSDD are used to define information modeling parameters, and the model is an automatic result of the design activity. The designer design and automatically obtain the model with all the data. Design, BIM authoring, and use of IDS and bSDD are part of the same activity. Today, we will explore the third solution, which is the one we adopted. And with this solution, data modeling is done before designing, reducing costs. As proof of concept, we established a specific case study, the design of a road with a particular focus on road pavement. And we mapped information requirement onto IDS. We created a bSDD test domain for road pavement and courses, complete with their respective properties. Subsequently, we replicated the design workflow, encompassing data checks and road performance verification, all while adhering to the IDS standards linked to the bSDD. With regard to the software, we used the Sierrasoft Infra Design Studio for road design, which already include parametric information modeling, geometrics and data modeling, to which IDS and bSDD management has been integrated. And now, a practical example of how this works. The first is the creation of the IDS by client side. The client, based on the information requirement, produced the IDS, the information delivery specification. For the creation of the IDS, in this case, we used as BIM IDS by ACA software. In our case, we create a specification for the wearing course for IFC 4.3 format. The class is IFC course user-defined, a object type wearing course, and it must contain 2 classifications and 5 properties. This is defined by the client. When all specification and verification are completed, the IDS file is produced and downloaded for use within the design and validation software and can send it to the designer. Now, designer side, data modeling using bSDD. Using Sierrasoft Infra Design Studio software, the road was designed and modeled. All the elements requested by the client are present, but still without properties. For example, you can see the wearing course. To define the data that must be contained in the wearing course element, we open the windows, the windows to define the BIM property styles. In the Entity tab, we find the definition of the wearing course entity, which at the moment has no properties, is empty. To add property, we will use the buildingSMART's bSDD service. We press the bSDD button, a box appears, which contains the list of bSDDs to be used. Now is empty. Now we add a dictionary. We get a complete list of all dictionary on buildingSMART server. We select the classification dictionary requested by the client from the list of dictionaries available on the buildingSMART server. Information about the selected dictionary appears. In this case, the general data and 2 classes appears, course and wearing course. Selecting the wearing course class, we can find the general information regarding the class and its properties. We add the bSDD classification to the entity property style. The entity property style controls the creation of the wearing course. Now we can see that the classification has been added to the entity property styles. In addition to the classification, we can use the bSDD class properties to populate the information of the entity property style. For example, the adherence property. We add the bSDD property and tag property set to the entity property styles, and this controls the creation of the model. Here we can see that the property and their property set have been added to the entity property styles. We can also take properties from other classes, for example, a parent class. In this case, we use the course class. We select and add 2 properties, the bearing capacity and the PSI, present serviceability index. Once again, we can see that the property set and properties have been added to the entity property style and are part of the model. Now, model validation and data modeling using IDS. To activate the management of the IDS, we must link the IDS provided by the client. Clicking on the IDS button, it opens a box that contains the list of the IDSs used. It's empty. Now we proceed to add the IDSs provided that there can be more than one. In addition, is done by selecting the IDS files. Once loaded, the system immediately performs verification of all entity property style in the project and will report any problem found. In this case, it reports that one classification, the bSDD FC 4.3, is missing, and two properties, thickness and volume, are also missing. Now, first, we solve the problem of missing classification. Is a FC course inside the bSDD FC 4.3. We go back to the bSDD management by pressing the bSDD button, and we link the second bSDD to the project. Now, the dictionary information, classes, and properties are available from the design software. To add the missing properties, we use the search function to look for the class course in the dictionary. Once we find it, we select it, and we add it to the entity property styles. Now the entity property style where in course has two classifications as required. Now we go back to the IDS management and proceed to add the two missing properties. We select the thickness property and add it to the entity property styles. The property has been added and its property set has also been added. The software internal validator immediately rechecks the model and warns us that the value of the property must respect the range defined in the IDS. Then we correct the value so that it meets the range. And we now need to add the volume, the second property, the volume property. And we add it to the entity property style in the same way. The property has been added and has been correctly placed in its property set. The internal IDS validator reports that the model conforms to the specification of the provided IDSs from the client. The model obtained from the design now contains all the required elements with property conforming to the provided IDSs. If the design or model is changed, everything is regenerated and always remain in conformity with the provided IDSs. There are no additional modeling costs for changes to the design. Now, FC creation. We set up the export to FC, in this case in FC 4.3 format, but can also be exported in other versions. Now the export has been completed, and here we can see that the information model in FC 4.3 format has been loaded and visualized with the BIM Vision software. Here we see the Properties tab as requested in the IDS, and the same for the Classification tab. Now, model validation using IDS, client side again. Now, the clients need to validate the model. In this case, we use again as BIM IDS by a software. We also always use the same IDS file used in the design software. The has-been validator reports to us that there are no errors and that the information model complies with the client's information requirements. Conclusion. The highest level of optimization is achieved if IDS and bSDD are integrated with the design activity through parametric information modeling. In this case, we obtain cost savings in information model creation and infrastructure design, cost savings when changing information content, no additional costs in regeneration of information model when the design is changed, reduction of errors in design and information modeling, reduction in the workload of the BIM coordinator, and simplification and streamlining of the entire BIM workflow. With all the right tools, the road and railway designer should and can integrate design work with information modeling. That's all. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Mauro. Please, I would like to do a small question, easy one.
Easy, okay.
Okay, of course, EDS obviously can help governments specify for their own purpose and reinforce mandates. What is your experience? Have you already received from different clients the
No.
EDS?
No, at the
Format?
moment there are a lot of interest, but we create our ideas for this research, for this work, but it's starting and change totally the BIM, because you can control the quality of the data modeling, but we are at the beginning.
Okay.
And with the bSDD is the same.
Well, thank
But
you.
We have to invest in this.
You have to invest. Thank you very much. So thank you everybody for having come today. I hope you like these sessions. I want to just point out one little thing. The best mandate, well, of course, Ferran was telling me about his experience, and he said the difference between before the mandate and after the mandate has been astonishing, and really the numbers speak by themselves. However, the better mandate is the self-mandate. So if you believe in this, just start working with it and don't stop. Okay? So thank you guys. We have now our next break. Keep enjoying the conferences. Enjoy Valencia, this gorgeous weather, this blue sky, and don't forget to go to see the fallas if you haven't, because that's something you can only see 1 week a year here in Valencia. Thank you.